Have you ever stopped to think that there's a creature at the bottom of the ocean that's literally devouring entire ships while you watch this video? And I'm not talking about giant sharks or sea monsters from ancient legends. I'm talking about something much smaller, much quieter, and absurdly more destructive than any predator you can imagine. This invisible force is currently corroding tons of steel, turning structures that cost millions into rusty dust on the ocean floor, and the thing is that no one can completely stop it. In fact, the more humanity tries to fight this microscopic enemy, the more it adapts and continues its relentless work of destruction. So get ready, because what you're about to discover will completely change the way you see the ocean and everything submerged in it. The story begins in a way that seems straight out of a science fiction horror film. Imagine you are a diver exploring the remains of a ship that sank just 20 years ago. You descend slowly through the dark, cold waters, your flashlight cutting through the abyssal darkness. And when you finally reach the wreckage, you'd expect to see a solid, imposing metal structure, perhaps covered in algae and barnacles, but still recognizable as a ship. However, what you find is something completely different and disturbing. The ship's hull is riddled with holes, as if attacked by thousands of tiny drills. The metallic surface, that should be smooth and resistant, is completely porous, fragile, almost crumbling to the touch. And then you realize something that chills your blood. These holes were not caused by the normal corrosion of saltwater. They were made by something alive, something that is deliberately, systematically devouring the steel, turning metal into food. This something has a scientific name that sounds almost poetic if you didn't know the terror it represents. Hello? Yes, you read that right. This name is a direct reference to the Titanic, because it was precisely in the wreckage of the most famous ship in history that scientists officially discovered this metal-devouring bacterium in 2010. But here's the detail that'll blow your mind. This microscopic creature is not new. It didn't appear because of modern pollution or climate change. It has existed for millions of years, silently evolving in the depths of the ocean, patiently waiting for humanity to start dumping its iron and steel structures on the seabed so that it could finally have an endless feast. And we, unknowingly, provided it with the perfect buffet. Thousands of sunken ships, abandoned oil platforms, war wreckage, lost submarines. All of this is food for this insatiable bacterium. But how exactly does a bacterium manage to eat metal? Because that seems impossible, right? Metal is inorganic. It's hard. It's resistant. It's not something that should serve as food for any living being. Well, Halomonas titanici has developed an absolutely fascinating and terrifying chemical process at the same time. It attaches itself to the surface of steel and begins to secrete special enzymes that drastically accelerate the oxidation process. That is, it doesn't exactly chew the metal, but it corrodes the iron at a much faster rate than normal rust would. And here's the ingenious trick of this bacterium. While it accelerates oxidation, it absorbs the electrons released in this chemical process and uses this energy for its survival and reproduction. It's as if it were literally eating the energy of the metal, transforming solid steel into soluble iron oxide that simply dissolves in seawater. And there's more, much more. This bacterium doesn't work alone. It forms gigantic colonies that create structures called rust, which are like stalactites of rust hanging from the hulls of sunken ships. These formations look beautiful and delicate when you see them in photos, almost like fragile decorations in an underwater garden. But in reality, they are signs of imminent death for any metallic structure. Each rustico contains billions of bacteria working together, like a beehive. But instead of producing honey, they produce destruction. And worst of all, these colonies communicate chemically with each other, coordinating their attacks, choosing the weakest points of the structure to attack first, maximizing the efficiency of the destruction. Now you might be wondering, okay, but what's the real problem with this? Ships sink all the time. Let the bacteria do their natural recycling work on the seabed. But the issue is much more serious and worrying than you imagine. First, there are thousands of warships sunk during the First and Second World Wars that still contain tons of ammunition, fuel, and toxic materials. As these bacteria corrode the hulls of these ships, They are creating breaches through which these hazardous materials are slowly leaking into the ocean. We're talking about veritable ecological time bombs scattered across the seabed around the world. And Halomonas titanicae is speeding up the clock on these bombs without us being able to do absolutely anything to stop it. Secondly, and this is even more alarming, this bacterium is not limited to sunken ships. It can attack any submerged metallic structure. This includes oil platforms, submarine, internet cables, connecting entire continents, coastal water and sewage system pipelines, and even the hulls of ships still in operation. There are documented cases of modern ships that had to be decommissioned decades earlier than planned because their structures were compromised by microbial attacks. And the cost of this is astronomical. We are talking about billions of dollars in annual losses for the shipbuilding industry and maritime infrastructure companies. Every ship that needs to be refitted ahead of schedule, every platform that needs extra maintenance, every cable that needs to be replaced, all of this bears the invisible mark of these bacteria. But wait, the story gets even crazier. Scientists recently discovered that Halomonas titanicae isn't alone in this endeavor. There are at least 20 other species of bacteria and microorganisms that also feed on iron and other metals at the bottom of the ocean. And what's most disturbing is that they are evolving, becoming more efficient, more resistant to the anti-corrosion treatments that humans develop. It's a microscopic arms race happening right beneath the surface of the sea. We create special paints, chemical coatings, more resistant metal alloys. And for a few years these methods work. But then the bacteria adapt, develop new enzymes, find new ways to penetrate the defenses, and the cycle begins again. It's like trying to win a war against an enemy that multiplies by the billions, that doesn't need to sleep, that doesn't feel pain, and that has millions of years of evolution on its side. And here's a part that will leave you amazed. These bacteria are helping. Scientists predict how long large historical structures will last on the ocean floor. The Titanic, for example, is being completely devoured by Halomonas titanicae and its microbial cousins. Recent studies indicate that the wreckage of history's most famous ship will completely disintegrate in the coming decades. Yes, you read that right. The Titanic, which survived intact for over a century at the bottom of the North Atlantic, is now on its last legs, being literally eaten alive by trillions of hungry bacteria. In a few decades, that symbol of human engineering and maritime tragedy will be just a rust stain on the ocean floor, a chemical reminder of what was once a masterpiece of shipbuilding. But there's an absolutely fascinating and somewhat disturbing side to this whole story. Some scientists are looking at these bacteria not as villains, but as potential allies. Think about it. If these little creatures can decompose metal so efficiently, perhaps we can use this ability to our advantage. Imagine being able to clean up ocean deposits of metallic waste using battalions of bacteria programmed to devour only specific structures. Or even better, imagine being able to recycle tons of scrap metal using biological processes instead of industrial furnaces that consume absurd amounts of energy and pollute the environment. Halomonas titanicae could be the key to a revolution in recycling and environmental cleanup, transforming what is currently a problem into an innovative biotechnological solution. But until that becomes a reality, the battle continues. Naval engineers around the world are desperately trying to develop new materials and coatings that can withstand these microbial attacks. Some companies are testing coatings made with silver and copper nanoparticles, which have natural antibacterial properties. Others are experimenting with special polymers that create a physical barrier impossible for bacterial enzymes to penetrate. There is even research involving low-intensity electric fields that theoretically could repel or kill bacteria before they attach to metal surfaces. But none of this is 100% effective yet. With each solution we develop, the bacteria find a loophole, a weakness, a way to continue their age-old work of decomposing the metal and returning it to the ocean in the form of dissolved minerals. And you know what the craziest part of all this is? These bacteria are basically doing the work the planet would naturally do anyway, only on a much faster time. The iron and steel we use to build ships originally came from the earth, were extracted from mines, processed in furnaces, and molded into plates and beams. But all of this is temporary on the planet's geological times. Eventually, whether in 100 years or 1,000 years, all of this metal would revert to its natural form of dissolved oxides and minerals in the environment. The bacteria are simply accelerating this inevitable process. They are, in a way, the official recyclers of the ocean. The microscopic cleaners that ensure nothing man-made remains forever, disrupting the natural balance of the marine ecosystem. But here's the final detail that will make you look at the ocean with different eyes the next time you're at the beach. These metal-eating bacteria exist in virtually every ocean in the world. It doesn't matter if you're in the icy Atlantic, the tropical Pacific, the Indian Ocean, or the Mediterranean. They are there, working silently, invisible to our eyes, but incredibly present and active. Every passing second, trillions of them are secreting their enzymes, accelerating oxidation, devouring structures, turning human creations back to dust. It's a humble and powerful reminder that no matter how advanced our technology becomes, no matter how strong and durable we think our materials are, nature always finds a way to reclaim what is hers. The ocean doesn't forget, the ocean doesn't forgive, and the ocean always wins in the end. So, the next time you see a gigantic ship sailing the sea or an oil platform on the horizon, remember, beneath those imposing structures lies an invisible army waiting patiently. An army of billions of microscopic soldiers that don't use conventional weapons, but enzymes and chemical reactions. An army that cannot be negotiated with, cannot be bribed, cannot be permanently stopped. They are there, doing what they have been doing for millions of years, long before humans existed, and will continue to do so long after we disappear. And perhaps, just perhaps, we should learn to respect these tiny creatures. Because they teach us a fundamental lesson, we are only temporary visitors on this planet, and everything we build is, in the end, ephemeral in the face of the relentless forces of nature. Now, tell me in the comments, did you know that there were bacteria capable of eating metal? Had you heard of Halimonus titanica? And more importantly, do you think we should try to fight these bacteria or learn to work with them to benefit the environment? Leave your opinion below, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content about the most absurd and fascinating curiosities of our planet. And click that like button if this video blew your mind as much as it blew mine when I discovered this story. And since you've made it this far and clearly love discovering mind-blowing things about the natural world, click on the video that's appearing on your screen now and continue this journey of discovery that will leave you even more impressed with the secrets that planet Earth hides.